Hi, this is Tytti Vanhala, an associate trainer for Art to Ride. I put together this video because I wanted to show how far we have come with Pöly during this 17 months. That's 1 year and 5 months. I also wanted to remind people and let them see once again how he looked in the beginning. Looked like in the beginning, well, in comparison how he does now. So let's see if you can see the difference in his going as well. Well, here we start with DJ lunging Pöly in trot. This is work from the first week that we had him. I think this might be something like third time we lunge him. I'm not 100% certain, but it's close enough to that. But as you can easily see here, he's going around hollow. Neck in, he's looking out. Head is really high. The back doesn't have any muscle. And the belly is very distended. You can see it also when he goes. Well, you can see it from behind. You know how it's really bulging out and downwards. And here you can see that there's really no particular movement in the back. Nothing happening in the back muscles, so to say. So here you can see him in walk, and you can see where the back is moving like that. You can't see any muscle movement there because there isn't any muscle yet. So that's why I put this clip of walking here in between. And here you can see how the belly is kind of dropping. It's really distended. You can see it from the side as well, how the back is really, well, there's nothing on the back, but the belly is kind of hanging down. And so you can see the difference on his back, how the back is moving differently on the latter part of this video. But he's starting to kind of stretch down as well on this this day of filming, but you can see that his back is not moving even when the head goes more down. It's still not engaging very much. Like there, he's starting to experiment what happens with stretch. And here you can see what happens as well when he stretched at that early age. He was starting to lean horribly much. I mean, his head went down. You can see there how DJ has to really hold back. So he's not pulled off his feet, basically. He had obviously issues with his bit as well. That's why we have a dually halter on top of his bridle. And we're lunging from the side ring. So not the schooling ring, but the side ring. And I tied up the schooling ropes so they won't fall down on his nose and irritate him more. And you can see here how he's used to just running around on the lunge, and he also tries to cut off. You can see here he's checking out like DJ that, okay, what are you gonna do if I just cut the circle or come to you? And you can see here he's cutting the circle. DJ has to pick up the lunge line, and here he's looking in, and then DJ just drives him on. You can see how he's aiming at his hindquarters. So he's walking towards his hindquarters. There you see. And this is how he's keeping him in the end of the lunge line at this moment. So here you can see how he's cutting off, and DJ is reacting like, no, you go to the end of the line. And he does. So it was very tricky lunging him the first week or the first couple of weeks. It was really disheartening after Usko when he was lunging so well. And when we first lunged Pöly, it was really it was appalling. It was really like, oh my god. Usko was such a good horse. But Pöly came really good. He just didn't know anything better. So it was just a matter of waiting and seeing. So the other issue was with him that he would not walk in the beginning. It was just impossible. He just rushed off, and then it's better to just, okay, we'll just work with the trot, as we did, as you see here. We worked on the trot, and now he finally, I mean, DJ asked every now and then, okay, I want you to walk, and he just made himself very passive and put the whip backwards and so on. But Pöly is so quickly reacting to any kind of pressure, as you can see here. DJ was just asking him to, no, you got to walk on, and he just went straight to trot. So this is what we just had to deal with in the beginning. But here he's already stretching all the way down to the ground. I mean, he's nowhere near consistent, obviously, because it's just the first week. But at least he's giving us something. And here you see DJ could be a little bit, obviously I would say now that could be a little bit more quicker with picking up the loose in the lunge line. But here you see he's a little bit in trouble of keeping him, but he wanted him to just walk, so that's why he didn't go so determinedly kind of chasing him. And here as well. So he's trying to avoid to step backwards. Instead, he's just moving forward towards his towards Pöly's hindquarters and just keep him moving. Yeah, and then I took over after a while, and so these are clips, just short clips from across the whole session that we had that day. Sorry. And I decided, like, okay, I'll have a go now to see how it goes. And he's a little bit calmer. And as you can see, I'm pointing the whip backwards, so I'm not being too decisive. But as you can see here as well, I'm trying to keep the circle. So I'm just giving him the limit. I like, okay, you just have to stay on this circle. But I really had to hold back, as you can see, quite a lot when he stretches. You kind of want to give when he stretches, but at the same time you have to keep the circle. So there's a bit of a fine line. But I'm trying to give instantly when he goes down, but I also pick up to give him that limit to the circle. And as you can see, I dropped my whip quite quickly because I just could not hold on to him just one hand. So I'm using two hands to just hold on to him. And anyway, the whip was, even when it was pointing backwards, it was too much for him now in the beginning. So, and I just wanted him to calm down and start walking, as he's doing here. And as you can see, I'm staying slightly behind him, so I'm not exactly on the middle of him as you would be optimally when you lunge. But I just wanted to kind of give him more of a, so to say, driving position for myself. So I would keep him on the circle without the whip and without being too strong in a way. So I was just aiming at him relaxing and just walking and not going off to trot or anything. So this is what I'm doing here, and I just got a little bit closer when he's been calming down more, and now I can keep him in walk. And I was pretty happy with that in the end, to get to that position, even though he was very difficult to start with. So here I can give more line to him when he goes down. So I'm a little bit closer and he's not rushing around anymore so badly. Okay, so here is our work from the end of October, 17 months later to the previous one. So this is all slow motion clips for you to see a little bit better how his back moves when he's trotting. So this is the first trots on this rein. I had been working on the other rein for a while, and then decided that, okay, we're gonna try and film this back movement now. So when I changed rain, DJ started filming with his camera. So here you can already see, in comparison to the previous one, obviously he's very consistent with the lowest stretch possible. But you can see how his belly is not anymore distended. He's a little bit chunky at the moment, but he's really engaging his core, and you can see how much back muscle he has. There's no dip, and here at the back, when you look at him in the back, you don't see the distended belly anymore on the side. So he's gained a hell of a lot of muscle, and even now you can see how his back is moving, a little bit more like up and down in the trot. And here his head comes a little bit higher, and you can see immediately that his back doesn't move as much as it does when his head is really down, like there. Can you see that? Not terribly much movement yet, but this is indeed the first trots, and it just kept on improving. So in the first part of this video, in the early lunging clips that I had, he was also tracking up, but it was rushed, and he was not using his muscles at all. Well, he didn't have them, so his back was not engaging or moving as it does here when he's also tracking up. But there, can you see that? That was a lot more movement in the back muscle that you can see coming up and down. So here you can see really the movement is getting bigger and bigger as the back is warming up on this side as well. I've done some canter in between, I think, here, so he has a little bit more energy in his step after that. And here comes a bit of a longer clip on the slow motion. He's still leaning a little bit like, well, he's not leaning in, but he's not completely straight. But here you can really see how the back is really moving. So he doesn't maintain that amount of movement yet when his head comes higher. So we're kind of just building up on that. So here you can really see there's quite a lot of movement in the back. So you can see that he's come quite far in this 17 months, but it's good to remind you and good to show how difficult it can be in the beginning, and yeah, you shouldn't worry about too much about it if you feel like you're not going anywhere, or that after 2 weeks they're not yet consistent in the stretch, or after 2 weeks they just don't want to walk yet on the lunge line or something. You have difficulties in certain things. It's okay. I mean, it'll come good. As you can see here, he's come good, and I have to say that we didn't do any work in hand for the first 11 months because he was well, we were novice with it, and we just couldn't get it working right because he was very difficult to start in hand with. He was leaning incredibly much, and he was just cutting off me all the time. So it was just, for me, it was impossible to start it on my own. So I needed Will to start him and start me on the work in hand. So you can certainly build muscle without the work in hand as well. So you shouldn't worry too much about these things. Just keep on lunging if you can't do in hand, and just aim at this stretch and aim at the relaxation and the forwardness, and you'll be okay. Here you can really start seeing well, you've seen it earlier, but the further we went with the session, the clearer it can be. But here you can see also that when he lifts his head, the movement stops. So that's why I'm also using my whip a little bit there. You can see like, okay, oi, get back to it. Let's work more. So that's my slow motion movements. Here the last one, maybe one of the better ones. So I hope that was illuminating for you guys, and you could see how the back can move really freely in the trot as well, and what to aim for. Okay, well, until next video, and have a good training session, everybody.